Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Gavin from Boas here, and in this video we're going to discuss getting tooled up. Okay, let's have a look at some of the tools that I use here in the HQ, and there's a good reason why I use what you see in front of you predominantly. This is the main items I use. First thing I want to do is give a shout out to Ashley's Living Art ball pythons. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I cannot rate this product enough. Ashley's just recently redeveloped her website. It's absolutely fantastic. Please get over, show some support, go and have a look. She's got some amazing products. Not only does she do feeding tweezers, she also does hides, water bowls. So get yourself over there, and obviously she breeds some amazing ball pythons. So get yourself over to Ashley's Living Art ball pythons on Instagram or on Facebook. But obviously get over there, give her a follow and check out some of her products, and they are absolutely fantastic. Now these particular tweezers I use because they're real smooth, beautiful in colour. She does do different coloured ones, but I predominantly use these for feeding young hatchlings or baby ball pythons basically. They work very well, not too scary because they're nice and black, so when the food's coming in all they see is the prey item, not necessarily my hand, because again a big heat source like this coming over onto the snake is going to scare them. So the last thing we want them to do is to be scared. So the best way to do it, I find, is to use some tweezers, some long reach tweezers if possible, or feeding tongs to offer the prey to the snake, and that works fantastic. So they are one of my go-to tweezers or feeding tongs. I can also use this because it's really smooth at the end. I also use these to assist feed or force feed baby ball pythons if they don't feed. So that's just one implement that I use. Going on to the next size up, feeding tongs or feeding tweezers are these bad boys. Now I've had these for absolutely years. They are really great simply because we've got this curvature here. I find it very easy to offer, you know, grow-ups and well-established baby ball pythons using these. I also feed my breeder males with these because I just find it does work fantastic. And I'm going to go into why I use such long instruments or long tweezers in a moment. The next set I use for my breeding females are these bad boys, and these are massive. And the reason why I use these, you can see that I've got a bit of a curvature here, but the reason why I use these is because some of my females, they feed like boas, and when they come out the tub, boy do they come out the tub. And the last thing I want, because they're in that feeding response mode, the last thing I want is for them to latch onto me and coil me. Not that it would hurt, I'm not going to lie, but what I try and do, which I'll talk about in a bit more depth shortly, is I try to disassociate my hand with food. So again, I'll go into that in a moment. So these are absolutely awesome. They've got like a rubber coating or a plastic coating over the metal part, because trust me guys, I'm not sure if you can see here, but there are actual teeth marks here on the actual end where I offer the rodent. And the reason for that is because they do get overexcited and they can basically miss the prey or sometimes hit this and then the prey. So having the rubber coating there or the PVC coating, whatever it is, really does help regarding their jaw or their teeth latching on. You will find a few teeth. Snakes do shed the teeth and they can lose the tooth, but don't panic, they can grow them back. So again, great rubber grips at the end just for comfortable gripping, and again a superb product, and I'll tell you who I got these off shortly, but we'll go through that in a moment. So those are my three feeding instruments that I mainly use. And again, there's a reason why I use different size ones. You know, you imagine trying to feed a baby ball python with one of these, you know, it's crazy. Well, again, you try feeding a proven breeder female that's weighing close to 3 kilos using this. You know, the food items there, your hands there. It doesn't take much of a brain surgeon to know that they could miss and eat your hand. Okay, so those are the reasons why I use different sizes. Now let's talk about hooks, and this is a very controversial topic because you see a lot of people using hooks with venomous animals or with larger species of snakes. For me, I want to implement disassociation with me as a person to the instruments, and I'll go over that very shortly. So this is the main hook I use. Again, we've got that lovely PVC or rubber coating at the end. Again, because when the snakes come out, I have had females actually bite this, because what I'll do is I'll use this to pull the tub open, and then I'll use the tweezers there to obviously offer the prey. And again, when we're dealing with animals that work on heat source, you imagine you're pulling the drawer open with your hand. You know, the first thing they're going to do is see this heat source, and if it's a clear tub, they're going to hit the side of the tub and potentially damage the face because they're seeing your hand. So if you are using clear tubs, I tend to use a hook, which works really well for getting underneath, pulling the drawer open, offering them the food, and away they go. Shut the drawer nicely. Again, it's all about safety, and I know this is saft, guys, and a lot of people think, oh, using hooks on ball pythons is saft. It's not. It's basically good practice, and what I mean by good practice is if ever I wanted to go into venomous or a larger species of animals, I'm already using my hooks. I'm kind of, if you like, hooked, trained. You know, I've already got the instruments and the tools there to use, so it's kind of, you know, a progression, if you like. You know, using these tools, I would advise you to go out and grab yourself just some simple hooks and feeding tongs, just to help you guys moving forward in the hobby. Now, I know again it sounds saft, and you see a lot of people, they don't use hooks, but what you do see them do when they open the drawer, either the drawers are like the grey coloured tubs where you can't really see the hand, so the hand is hidden, but here in the UK, or a lot of people may use those plastic see-through tubs. So the hooks are absolutely fantastic. That's my main hook, and I use this hook as well. I do what's called tap training. So these animals we cannot tame, we can only train, if you like. And most of my animals know me, they know your scent, they get to know you as a person, and that's been proven time and time again with you know, my friends coming into the HQ, you know, picking up a snake, and straight away that snake hisses. She doesn't like that person, or she knows that person's not me, but you know, it is what it is. So I use a hook for hook training, and what we do with that is late on a night, again these animals are nocturnal, on an evening, if I'm going in there to service or clean out the tub, she's going to be in feeding mode, and this hook basically, so just pushing her with this hook, or just gently moving her out the way with this hook and not my hand, she knows I'm coming into that tub to do some water changes, maybe to clean out some shed, you know, put a male in there. It's not feeding time. Now if I go in there with my hand, because she's got that feeding response, guess what's going to happen? She's going to latch onto my hand, and yes, we're going to have an issue. It's not going to be a crazy issue like if you had a bigger python or a bigger snake, but remember guys, we have to practice good husbandry, good techniques, because we have to show responsibility to the government that we are responsible keepers, and we know and we have all the right instruments and tools to work with this species. Again, this species isn't a dangerous species, but again, start as we mean to go on. We are all a reptile community. We all have a responsibility to show good practice, you know, all that sort of great stuff. So moving forward, the reason why I use hooks is simply hook training or tap training does work, because it tends to knock them out of that feeding response. Now you do see a lot of people when they open the tub, they tend to do all this with their hands. That for me isn't a good interaction with that snake. What you're basically doing is sort of, you know, you're confusing the snake, and the snake is then worried which way you're going to come. You know, you're going to come in, you're going to potentially hurt it. It will then scare the snake. So by using a hook to go in first, tap the snake, or just move the snake gently to one side or the other, or even hook the snake to lift it out, it now knows it's not going to feed. It doesn't need to be scared, and it sort of snaps out of that kind of feeding response, or that fight or flight sense. So using a hook is great for those type of situations. So again, use a hook. This hook I had to get because some of my females, and they are big girls, when they are ready to feed, they are absolutely animals, and they come to the front, and trust me guys, they will, or they have come very close to my hand with this hook. So at the last Doncaster show, I picked up one of these hooks, a gentleman and a lady. They're normally in the main hall. They do all professional snake hooks. I did pick up a card. I do see them and speak to them all the time. I saw them at the ham show, but for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the company. I think it's Snake Professional, but don't quote me on that. They are absolutely awesome people. They do a large array of items like this for the bigger species, and they do massive feeding tongs, which you would use for feeding Burmese pythons, or, you know, big reticulated pythons. They do some amazing stuff. So if you are at the Doncaster show, go over and give Ashley's table a look over, give her a follow, and obviously get over and give, I believe it's Snake Professional, again at the Doncaster show and at the ham show, maybe even at the Halton show. Go and give them, say hello to them, tell them Gavin at Balls to Use sent them over to have a look at some of their stuff, and I will appreciate your support. Let's just talk about the disassociation with you as a person or a keeper, and the snake being a feeding response type situation. Right, it's all about good husbandry and obviously good practice. What I don't like to do is I don't like to have a bad interaction with an animal. So when a lot of my friends come round, they comment how chilled out my snakes are. I believe that when you're waving your hands in front of your snake like so, it's going to create that sort of impression, and it's going to create like a bad interaction with that snake, or a scared snake, that every time you open that tub, you know, you're going to start waving your hands around to try and pick it up. It's going to scare it. You're going to pick it up. It's going to start hissing and trying to run away, maybe even go for you. So for me, using a hook or using some type of instrument to disassociate yourself with feeding time makes a massive difference. And my snakes now know if I particularly push them back with a hook, or with, you know, with a pair of tweezers, whatever, it's not feeding time, and you see him sort of snap out of this feeding mode. So a hook, when we talk about, we can't tame these snakes, but we can train. And I believe when I say train, I mean like a repetitive type of situation. So from a hatchling, you know, I use a hook, I feed with a pair of tongs, and they see that all the way up through into adulthood, which is all positive interactions with that snake. If you have any questions, guys, please put them in the comment box below. I love and respect you all. I really do appreciate all your support, and again, thanks for all the likes, thanks for all the shares, and thanks for all the subscriptions that you guys are subscribing to. The channel is our channel as a community. I really do appreciate everything you guys do for me. Okay, but for now, like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys in the next one.